Alright guys, it's Brian, and I came to talk to you guys about a testimony I had when I was in 3rd grade. So I was not the best looking kid. I mean, I'm still okay right now, but back then I didn't have braces and stuff. I had terrible clothing. I mean, I don't really wear good clothing now, but I used to wear like terrible styles and stuff. So the result of that was not many friends. I had a few friends that were like talk to me and stuff, but I wasn't. They were okay. I only had like two. We would play and stuff in the recess and talk at lunch and stuff. Anyway, so I went to Bellevue Elementary. That's where I was, like, you know what I mean. I went there for, I think, most of all my elementary life, yeah. But when I was in 3rd grade, I decided I was not a smart kid. I was not a huge believer of God at that time. I wasn't on fire as I am now. So I didn't really know anything really like about him. But anyway, like I said, I was not smart, so I decided to ask God for something that I didn't know I would regret. I asked him for kids to bully me. Sounds stupid, I know, but so all of a sudden, like after a month of going to school, I started facing bullying. It's like as if God answered my prayer, but maybe it wasn't God maybe God answered, but only because I asked him. I didn't know I was getting what I was getting myself into. Anyway, so I started getting bullied by a bunch of people, like women, men, basically about how dumb I was, how on my looks and stuff. Basically things I would do that they would just find every easy thing to pick on me or something. And eventually, after 2 months of this happening, where I would respond with my own comebacks and stuff, it started to get worse, like way worse. Like nothing was physical. It was mainly like words and stuff. But anyway, I tried telling teachers, they didn't listen. The people who did this, they know who they are, and I forgive them. And I still know them to this day, or well, a few of them that go to the high school. But eventually, I was overcome with a bunch of terrible side effects of this bullying that was going on in my life. So I was overcome with depression, suicidal thoughts. I didn't want to live, basically. So I went to my dad, and I told him about the situation, and he decided to go to the school, and tell the teachers and principals about this, and that if they didn't take care of it, that I would have to punch one of the people so they can mess with me, and then when I get suspended, that he will be content with it. And it did work, but that was after 6 months of this going on. Anyway, I went, the side effects of that time still had lasting effects on me, to the point where it was a whole year that I had side effects of that situation. So anyway, I was not a huge believer in God. I went to church every so often. I wasn't really a true believer, but God is very merciful and very compassionate with people who are unrepented. And since I was a child, I was in 3rd grade, he had a lot of grace with me. So after a year of having suicidal thoughts, thinking of stabbing myself and all that stuff, looking at machetes, knives and all that stuff, and thinking what would happen, and I wouldn't say that I was actually gonna do it, but it's only because I was really scared of the consequences and how my parents would react and stuff. But I faced these symptoms for over a year until one day my dad went to the soccer field and I was just sitting in the car with this, and like I was sitting in the car with this, and when my dad was finished, he got in the car and we started heading home. And at this point I was very tired. I was to the point of giving up until something came to my mind. I pray to God. I didn't know he was real at that time. If he was real, wasn't too sure. But I stick my head out the back window that opens up and lay my head down through the air as the car passes by. My parents and sisters unaware of this. And I prayed to God in my mind, and I said exactly these words: God, if you are real, please help me. I can't do this anymore. I need your help, and I don't think I can take much longer. That's what I said in my mind to God. And as soon as I said that, looking at the sky, I felt a spirit leave my body. It was definitely supernatural. It left my body, and I felt it, my heart being cleaned and touched from God himself. And this is a story that I keep really personal that nobody knows about, but except my mom. But this is a huge testimony for me and one of the most craziest things I've ever experienced. The depression, the suicidal thoughts, the worthlessness in my life was gone in a second with one prayer. And I felt that God had grace with me and delivered me from this hardship. So I'm thankful for God. He can deliver you from your depression just like he did to me. It may not be the first time, but eventually he will always do it, because I knew as I'm sitting right here in this bed that this was a hardship that God allowed me to go through so that I can eventually accept him as my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. So accept him in your hearts. This is super real to me and a very personal story that I don't like to tell people, but I finally had the courage to come on camera and tell you guys about this. Accept him, and I'll see you guys later. I love you guys.